Zhang King said, exactly, it only matters that we mean well. Come, have a drink, cool down. She poured a cup of water for Song Hui and added, after all, this has nothing to do with us. We just need to live our own lives. After taking a sip of the water and swallowing down his anger, Song Hui patted Zhang King's head. Yes, I'm not going to interfere with these messes in the future. There was serene silence inside the silvery gray sedan. This time Zhu Miao was the one driving. Although unfamiliar with the roads here, he followed the main route for a while. Yang Zhao remained silent throughout, causing him to shoot a glance at her and asked, Yang Zhao, am I nearly out of the city? Yang Zhao didn't seem in the mood for banter. She simply replied, take a turn after the following 2 intersections. Zhu Miao was pleased and asked, is there a good restaurant? Yang Zhao said, let's go home. Okay, Zhu Miao surrendered, you're in command now. Zhu Miao drove much faster than Yang Zhao, and they quickly got back to Huican Paragon. Zhu Miao parked the car downstairs and went upstairs with Yang Zhao. When they were let in by Yang Jinchen, he was surprised. Already back? You finished eating so quick? Zhu Miao said with resignation, didn't eat, but had enough. A confused Yang Jinchen gazed at them, then returned to his room to study, leaving Yang Zhao and Zhu Miao in the living room. Yang Zhao didn't turn on the living room lights, only the dim wall light was on, illuminating 2 people sitting on the sofa. Yang Zhao lit up a cigarette and smoked in silence. Her gaze was fixated on some far-off point, her expression cold. Zhu Miao sat across her, watching, and asked, what are you thinking about? Yang Zhao slowly replied, thinking about what just happened. Zhu Miao asked, just now? Yang Zhao took a puff and said indifferently, did you hear what they said? Zhu Miao replied, I heard. Yang Zhao added, I think they were partly right. Zhu Miao chuckled, which part? Yang Zhao explained, about disability, about sex. Zhu Miao hummed in response and reached for the cup on the coffee table, drinking some water. Little Zhao, do you know how many artists throughout history have been obsessed with imperfection? Zhu Miao gently swung the cup, and the remaining half cup of water whirled into a beautiful spiral in the glass, making a mountain out of a molehill. Yang Zhao remained silent. Of course, Zhu Miao continued, there are many mediocrities in this world. You can care or ignore their opinions. Yang Zhao only gave a light laugh, mediocrity. Yes, although all textbooks tell you all men are born equal, but little Zhao. Zhu Miao unbuttoned his suit collar, relaxedly sitting on the sofa. There's no fairness in this world. People are born unequal, without exception. Yang Zhao asked, have you assigned a price to everyone? Of course not. Zhu Miao shook his head. Many people don't even qualify to be priced. Yang Zhao couldn't help but laugh. Zhu Miao, you're such a thorough businessman. Zhu Miao replied, I'll take that as a compliment. Yang Zhao finished her cigarette and put out the stub in the ashtray. Zhu Miao saw a book on the coffee table. He picked it up, and in the dim wall light he asked, still reading the same book? Yang Zhao replied, I've already finished it, forgot to put it away. Zhu Miao asked, what's the book about? Yang Zhao replied, psychology. She stood up and told Zhu Miao, I'm going to rest now. If you're hungry, you can order takeout. Zhu Miao stared at her and asked, how to order takeout? As Yang Zhao was walking to her room, she casually said, call for it, the takeout menu is next to the telephone. Yang Zhao took a quick shower, and then turned off the lights and laid down on her bed in the bedroom. She felt extremely tired that she wanted to sleep soundly. Yet, after more than half an hour, she was still unable to fall asleep. She forced herself to close her eyes, using the method her teacher taught her in kindergarten, where she would count stars, from 1 to 100 and then back to 1. After doing that, she finally sat up. She reached for a pack of cigarettes on her bedside, only to find it empty when she picked it up. She didn't know if Zhu Miao was still in the living room, as she couldn't hear anything from the outside. Too lazy to move, Yang Zhao just sat there on her bed in a daze. It's been a long time since she had insomnia. The night was dark and quiet. In such a night, time seemed to pass very slowly yet also very quickly. As her eyes adjusted to the darkness, Yang Zhao began recognizing various items in her room bit by bit, starting from the painting on the wall, the books on the table, to the large floor-to-ceiling window. There was a small gap left in the curtain. The section in the middle was lighter in color, from top to bottom. Yang Zhao observed it for a moment and got down from the bed, intending to cover up the gap. Barefoot, she felt a cold sensation from the floor while walking towards the window to pull the curtains closed. As she was closing the curtain, she seemed to see something through the thin gap. Just a brief moment was all it took for her drowsiness, which took half the night to develop, to vanish. She opened the curtain again. Huacan Paragon was considered a high-end neighborhood with street lights on every path. To not disturb the sleep of lower-level residents, the neighborhood lights were dim and yellowish. Now, at the end of Yang Zhao's sight, a silhouette leaned quietly against the street light. It was dark, hazy, yet upon close inspection, it still was a richly colorful scene. The dim yellow light shone on some wilting green leaves, reflecting an intense light upon a red taxi. The person wearing a black coat leaned against the light post with a cigarette in hand. Suddenly, Yang Zhao noticed Chen Mingsheng paused with his cigarette. For some reason, at the moment when the cigarette paused, Yang Zhao knew that Chen Mingsheng had noticed her just like last time. He put down the cigarette and slowly lifted his head. Yang Zhao couldn't see his face at all, but she felt that Chen Mingsheng's gaze was fixed on her. He was so strong, yet so vulnerable. Yang Zhao put down the curtain, turned around and ran for the door. The living room was empty. Yang Zhao grabbed her clothes from the sofa. Out of her peripheral vision, she saw the book on the coffee table, The Republic. She flung open the door, once again not waiting for the elevator but rushing down the stairs. Maybe the elevator would have been faster, but Yang Zhao just didn't want to stand still. She felt a power urging her forward. The dark night washed everything away. No injustices, dismissive glances, no worries. If none of this exists, do you have a place you want to go to, whether it's a desolate wilderness, a dark mire, or any other place that's been condemned? If you do, then this is your ideal nation. Yang Zhao had always thought that men like Zhu Miao were every woman's dream. But now, she understood that the person who truly lived in her dream kingdom was Chen Mingsheng. Yang Zhao pushed open the door to the unit and walked up to him. She looked into his black eyes, and in a low voice asked him, "Why are you here?" Chen Mingsheng, with his eyes downcast, chuckled softly. Yang Zhao could smell the strong scent of tobacco. His voice was somewhat raspy, "Because I felt that you wouldn't come again." Yang Zhao opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Chen Mingsheng spoke softly, "I'm sorry about tonight." Yang Zhao replied, Chen Mingsheng seemingly didn't know what else to say. He stood there quietly, head down. The night was a bit chilly. Yang Zhao asked, "How long have you been here?" Chen Mingsheng paused before responding, "Not very long." With no reply from Yang Zhao, Chen Mingsheng glanced at her and noticed her intense gaze fixed on him. He said, "I arrived at 9:30 in the evening." Yang Zhao asked, "What time is it now?" Without checking his watch, Chen Mingsheng said directly, "About 2 in the morning." Yang Zhao slightly furrowed her eyebrows, saying, "Aren't you cold?" Chen Mingsheng let out a soft laugh and said, "No." Silence ensued. Listening to Chen Mingsheng's recent laughter, Yang Zhao felt upset. He used to like to laugh softly too, but the sound was much more relaxed back then. The laugh she heard now, Yang Zhao couldn't bear to hear. She looked around. The neighborhood was quiet at night, immersed in darkness, as if only the two of them were left in the world. Suddenly, Yang Zhao turned her head and asked Chen Mingsheng, "Do you get vacations?" Chen Mingsheng was taken aback. "What?" Yang Zhao asked, "Vacation? Do you have any? Do taxi drivers get vacations?" Chen Mingsheng's answer was almost immediate, but seeing Yang Zhao's rare excited expression, he swallowed his words. "What is it?" "Yang Zhao, do you or not?" Chen Mingsheng paused for a moment before saying, "Yes." Yang Zhao suggested, "Chen Mingsheng, let's go on a trip." Chen Mingsheng paused for a good 10 seconds before saying, "What?" Yang Zhao replied, "A vacation." Chen Mingsheng asked, "Where to?" Yang Zhao asked, "Where would you like to go?" The plot twist of tonight has progressed too quickly for Chen Mingsheng to keep up with Yang Zhao's thought process. He said, "I'm okay with anywhere. Where do you want to go?" Yang Zhao thought and said, "I don't know." Having stood for a while, Yang Zhao began to feel cold. She had rushed down too hurriedly, not wearing a coat, and after being blown by the wind for 10 minutes, the warmth she had charged down with had dissipated. She began to shiver. Chen Mingsheng, noticing her discomfort, suggested, "Why don't we sit in the car for a while?" Yang Zhao nodded in agreement. As Chen Mingsheng opened the car door, Yang Zhao suggested, "Let's sit in the back." They both climbed into the back seat of the car together, where it wasn't much warmer, but at least it blocked out the wind. Chen Mingsheng took off his coat and handed it to Yang Zhao. "It's a bit cold, isn't it? Wear this." Yang Zhao, taking the coat, asked, "Aren't you cold?" Chen Mingsheng shook his head. "No." Yang Zhao draped Chen Mingsheng's coat over her shoulders. The coat was a perfect fit for Chen Mingsheng, but on Yang Zhao it was 2 sizes too large, with the shoulders drooping on each side. The coat still held the warmth of Chen Mingsheng's body. As she brought her head down slightly, she could faintly smell him. It was a distinct smell, a bit like tobacco and a bit like soap. Why the sudden desire to travel? Chen Mingsheng asked. Is it that sudden? Yang Zhao replied. Chen Mingsheng was silent. Even Yang Zhao laughed after she spoke, admitting, it is a bit sudden. She leaned back in her seat and said, I still have a month left of my holiday. I want to go out with you. Do you have the time? I can manage, Chen Mingsheng answered. Yang Zhao fell silent for a moment, then turned her head to look at Chen Mingsheng. Really? Uh-huh, he responded. I need a cigarette, Yang Zhao requested. It's in the coat, Chen Mingsheng directed. Yang Zhao fumbled about in the black coat until she found a pack of cigarettes and a lighter. She took out a cigarette, placed it in her mouth and lit the lighter. The moment the flame flickered to life, Chen Mingsheng turned his head slightly and saw in the glow of the fire that Yang Zhao's eyes sparkled beautifully. She took a gentle puff of her cigarette and then stated, Chen Mingsheng, if we go on this trip, I'll cover the costs. Chen Mingsheng had been watching her. Hearing her offer, he said softly, no need. Have you been neglecting work lately? Yang Zhao asked. It doesn't matter, Chen Mingsheng replied. Holding the cigarette between her fingers, Yang Zhao turned her head to face Chen Mingsheng and assured, don't worry about the money. Chen Mingsheng chuckled, teasing in a deep voice, are you offering to be my sugar mama? Yang Zhao laughed in response and asked, would you like to be kept by me? Her laughter, obscured by the faint embers of the cigarette, felt genuine and simple. Chen Mingsheng raised his hand and gently ruffled Yang Zhao's hair. I don't take a woman's money. Tell me where you want to go. Don't worry about anything. Yang Zhao looked at him for a moment before chuckling softly. What is it? Chen Mingsheng asked. You know what? It reminds me of the past. Yang Zhao mentioned you came to my house. I invited you in and you refused to enter. Chen Mingsheng raised an eyebrow. Do you call that an invitation? Yang Zhao looked at him, expression unchanged. Chen Mingsheng took a sip and said, I guess it counts as an invitation then. Yang Zhao said, you were just as stubborn back then. Chen Mingsheng said softly, was I? They both fell silent, reminiscing that day. After nearly finishing his cigarette, Yang Zhao said to Chen Mingsheng, you should arrange a time. Chen Mingsheng asked, when do you want to go out? Putting down his cigarette and giving it some thought, Yang Zhao said, I need to make sure my brother is taken care of. I'm still a bit worried about him. Chen Mingsheng said, then notify me when you've decided on a time. Yang Zhao looked at him and said, okay, you focus on work tomorrow and the day after. I probably won't be coming to see you. Chen Mingsheng, caught between laughter and tears, said, okay. Yang Zhao extinguished the cigarette but said, I'll go upstairs then. She turned her head and saw Chen Mingsheng's gaze. Suddenly, she felt a reluctance to leave. She pulled at Chen Mingsheng's arm and in the dark, she kissed his lips. Chen Mingsheng hugged her back, reciprocating the kiss. In the moment they parted, Chen Mingsheng told Yang Zhao, you should go home and rest early. Yang Zhao let go of his hand, returned his jacket to him, and then stepped out of the car and left. When she got home, Yang Zhao softly opened the door. The living room was as quiet as a mausoleum. Zhu Miao and Yang Jinchen were sleeping soundly. Yang Zhao returned to her room and walked to the window to look down. Chen Mingsheng seemed to be waiting for her below, and when he saw a silhouette, he waved at her. Yang Zhao laughed lightly as she watched his figure disappear into the cab. It was already late into the night, but Yang Zhao still didn't feel sleepy. She went to the study room, started her computer, and began searching for tourist destinations online. Yang Zhao rarely went sightseeing. Other than required field investigations, she would hardly go out to visit scenic spots. She entered the keyword tourist spots, but the mass amount of results made her frown. She roughly scanned through it. She thought about what Chen Mingsheng had said earlier. I don't need a woman's money. In the dark room, Yang Zhao laughed to herself. This man can sometimes be terribly obstinate. After searching for a while, Yang Zhao started to feel tired. Finally, she clicked into a travel agency's website. In the domestic tour section, the first recommendation was a 6-day discounted tour to Shaanxi. Yang Zhao pondered, Shaanxi. Eventually, at 3:30 in the morning, Yang Zhao finally gave in to the urge to sleep. She turned off the computer and went back to her room to sleep. Just before she collapsed on the bed, her mind remained in a daze. The next morning, Yang Zhao woke up to send Yang Jinchen to school. While eating breakfast, Su Miao told Yang Zhao that he had an afternoon flight to Beijing to attend an auction. Yang Zhao nodded and said, "Just lock the door when you leave." On the way to school, Yang Jinchen told Yang Zhao, "Sis, I think it's better if I stay in the school dorms. It's too troublesome to commute 2 hours to and from school every day." Yang Zhao paused. She indeed needed a few days off. "Why do you want to stay in school?" Yang Jinchen said, "I already said it's a waste of time." Yang Zhao kept silent. Yang Jinchen said, "Don't you trust me anymore?" Yang Zhao said, "I trust you. It's just that we should learn from the past. Zhaoqian, you really don't have that much time left." Yang Jinchen, sitting in the back seat of the car, muttered to himself, "I know I have to work hard." "You're still not satisfied?" Yang Zhao didn't say anything. As they were approaching the school, Yang Zhao pulled over the car at an intersection. Yang Jinchen found this odd and said, "We're not there yet." Yang Zhao said, "I know." Yang Jinchen said, "Then why did you stop the car?" Without turning her head, Yang Zhao, her hand on the steering wheel, watching the cars passing by one through the windshield, said quietly, "Jinchen, why do you study?" Yang Jinchen was taken aback. "I study for," he stuttered, double quotes to ... to do well on the college entrance exam. Yang Zhao turned off the car, lit a cigarette, and said lightly, "Jinchen, we study for ourselves. You may feel now that the college entrance examination is the most important thing in life, like a sky. But later on, you will find that the college entrance exam is just an experience, over and done with. Yet every character you learn, every book you read, will be stepping stones, elevating you higher and higher. Then you will slowly realize that there are always someone better than you, there is always a higher sky, the world is very large, Jinchen. There are many wonderful things and many amazing people." Yang Zhao slowly exhaled a puff of smoke. "From a high place, you can choose to look down. But from a low place, you have no choices." The hazy smoke mingled with the early morning sunlight, blinding Yang Jinchen a little. Yang Zhao's figure in the thick light seemed relaxed and lazy. Just like a senior, occasionally sharing her experience with juniors in her spare time. Whether you listen or not, she won't care too much. That shadow and that speech were deeply imprinted in Yang Jinchen's mind. He would never forget them. Yang Zhao finished her cigarette and started the car again. "You can live back at school. I'm going to leave soon." Yang Jinchen asked casually, "Where are you going?" Yang Zhao hesitated, then couldn't help but remember the place she saw before going to bed last night, Shaanxi. Yang Jinchen only responded, not saying anything else. After dropping off Yang Jinchen, Yang Zhao made a call to Chen Mingsheng. "Hello? Chen Mingsheng, are you at work?" "Yeah." Yang Zhao heard the taximeter counting, then the sound of a door closing. Then Chen Mingsheng said, "What's up?" Yang Zhao said, "Nothing really." Chen Mingsheng asked, "Have you decided where to go yet?" Yang Zhao said, "Shaanxi." Chen Mingsheng asked again out of casual curiosity, didn't expect Yang Zhao to make up her mind so quickly. "Which part of Shaanxi?" Yang Zhao said, "I don't know." Yang Zhao asked him, "Anything interesting in Shaanxi?" Chen Mingsheng thought about it and said, "There are tourist places such as Wuda Mountain." Yang Zhao naturally had heard of Wuda Mountain, "Then let's go there." Another casual decision made Chen Mingsheng couldn't help but laugh. "When do you want to leave?" "Have you settled your brother's affairs?" "He's settled, he'll move back to school tomorrow," Yang Zhao said. Chen Mingsheng asked, "When do you want to leave?" Yang Zhao asked, "When are you free?" Chen Mingsheng responded, "I'm free whenever." Yang Zhao said then, "Leave tomorrow?" Chen Mingsheng finally realized that he couldn't let this continue. He asked Yang Zhao, "Have you decided on the route yet?" Yang Zhao said, "No." Chen Mingsheng, "Have you thought about the transportation? Do you want to drive there or take a plane or a train?" Yang Zhao said, "No." Chen Mingsheng asked, "Have you prepared the things you need to bring?" Yang Zhao's answer was slower with each question, "No." Before Chen Mingsheng could say more, Yang Zhao fell silent. He sighed on the other end of the line and said, "Wait for me at home, I'll come over after work." Yang Zhao said, "Okay." After hanging up the phone, Yang Zhao realized how confused she had been. She hadn't even thought about these basic things before calling Chen Mingsheng. She went home and sat on the couch thinking. In truth, it was just a trivial matter, yet Yang Zhao always found herself thinking about it from different perspectives. After giving it much thought, Yang Zhao came to a conclusion. She was starting to rely on Chen Mingsheng. She waited for him to arrive, waited for him to arrange everything. She was unable to tell if this situation was good or bad. Yang Zhao took a sip of water placed at the side of the tea table, watching the wall clock's hands as if it was circling ceaselessly. Her heart was calm. The room only had her at this moment, but she was expecting another person to arrive soon. A whole apartment, just for 2 people. Aside from that, nothing else. She could feel a great sense of fulfillment. At 6:30 in the evening, Yang Zhao received a call from Chen Mingsheng. She walked to the bedside, waved to the person below. Chen Mingsheng always wore prosthesis when at work. Yang Zhao looked at him and said, "Looking at your 2 legs feels really unfamiliar." Chen Mingsheng was carrying several plastic bags, and Yang Zhao asked, "What's in these?" Chen Mingsheng looked down and replied, "Vegetables. Did you eat dinner yet?" Yang Zhao answered, "Not yet." "I haven't eaten either. Let me cook later," he replied. Yang Zhao stood up to support him. "Okay." After Chen Mingsheng entered the room, he took off his prostheses. He used a walking stick to move to the kitchen, glanced around, then asked Yang Zhao, "Ever since I left last time, this kitchen?" Yang Zhao completed his sentence, "I didn't use it anymore." Chen Mingsheng placed the vegetables in the sink to wash, telling her, "Don't always eat takeaways, it's not good for your health." Yang Zhao nodded obediently, "Okay." Chen Mingsheng cooked rather swiftly. In no time the dishes were arrayed on the table. During the meal, Yang Zhao asked Chen Mingsheng, "How do you want to leave?" "What?" Yang Zhao clarified, "For traveling." Chen Mingsheng looked a tad bit hungry. He heaved a large mouthful of rice and just replied simply, "Your choice." Yang Zhao suggested, "Then let's take a train." Chen Mingsheng's hand, which was holding chopsticks, halted. He thought Yang Zhao would either drive or take a flight. He didn't expect her to opt for a train. "Why did you think of taking a train?" "It's cheaper." Chen Mingsheng slowed down the pace of eating rice. Yang Zhao served him a piece of meat and said lightly, "Chen Mingsheng, it's okay if you don't want to spend my money, but don't push yourself too hard." Chen Mingsheng is not rich. He knew it and she knew it too. Yang Zhao smiled and added, "We have a long road ahead." Chen Mingsheng looked up. He saw Yang Zhao's face illuminated by the ceiling lamp over the dining table. She looked so clear and radiant. "We have a long road ahead." After dinner, Yang Zhao and Chen Mingsheng prepared to book train tickets. Yang Zhao led Chen Mingsheng into her study. As she powered on her computer, Chen Mingsheng looked around. Yang Zhao's study was very organized, packed with numerous books. Chen Mingsheng randomly picked up one interpretation of bronzeware ornaments, graphic texts, and image inscriptions. He flipped through it to see that it was filled with dense text and a few illustrations scattered here and there. He placed back the book on the shelf, diverting his attention to a painting hung on the wall. It was a traditional Chinese painting, where a carp swam downstream fluidly in a few simple yet effective brushstrokes, depicted with a tranquil yet vivid technique. All set, Yang Zhao opened the computer. Then Chen Mingsheng turned his body and with the help of walking stick headed over there. Yang Zhao told him, "Wait, let me get a stool for you." Chen Mingsheng placed his walking stick aside. As Yang Zhao walked past him to get a stool from the living room, she was pulled back by Chen Mingsheng after taking only a few steps. She was led back by him to the side of the chair. "No need," Chen Mingsheng said. "We can sit here." Then he sat on the leather office chair with wheels underneath. After sitting down, Chen Mingsheng moved the chair closer to the computer. He leaned against the chair looking at Yang Zhao and motioned her, "Come here." Yang Zhao replied doubtfully, "Where should I sit down?" Chen Mingsheng chuckled, "Where do you want to sit down?" Looking down, Yang Zhao noticed Chen Mingsheng's left leg placed right in front of her. She looked up and saw Chen Mingsheng smiling lightly at her. Yang Zhao shifted her gaze and walked over. Chen Mingsheng grabbed her hand and guided her onto his left lap. Yang Zhao asked uncertainly, "Can it handle on one leg?" Chen Mingsheng reassured her, "No problem." He moved the chair forward towards the computer. Looking at the screen, Yang Zhao said, "I've opened the ticket booking site, check the time." "All right," he agreed. Yang Zhao sat, her eyes gently flitted down below. Chen Mingsheng's left hand naturally circled around her waist, with his right hand holding the mouse. He was browsing a website, clicking now and then, making a crisp sound. He sat behind her, his chest nearly pressing tightly against Yang Zhao's back, his face calmly resting on Yang Zhao's body. Yang Zhao smelled the faint scent of soap again. "Leaving after tomorrow?" Chen Mingsheng asked. Yang Zhao felt a slight tremble in her back at his low utterance, momentarily lost in thought. Not hearing a reply, Chen Mingsheng turned his head slightly, looking at her curiously. What's wrong? Only then Yang Zhao came back to her senses. She quickly looked at the screen and said, "Sure." Chen Mingsheng chuckled and said, "Why are you always zoning out?" Yang Zhao stared at the screen, saying lightly, "Nothing, I'm just looking." Chen Mingsheng dragged the information of a train ticket to the center of the screen, asking, "Leaving the day after tomorrow?" Yang Zhao had a glance and asked, "Why is it to Beijing?" Said Chen Mingsheng, "There's no direct train." Yang Zhao turned to look at Chen Mingsheng, asking, "How do we get there then?" Chen Mingsheng thought for a moment, replying, "Taking train to Beijing, from Beijing to Taiwan, it will pass through Wuta Mountain." Yang Zhao nodded, then said, "Let's buy it that way." As Chen Mingsheng clicked to purchase the tickets, Yang Zhao asked, "How much are the tickets? To Beijing or from Beijing to Wuta Mountain?" said Chen Mingsheng. "From Beijing to Wuta Mountain," said Yang Zhao. Chen Mingsheng replied, "Let me see." He pulled up detailed ticket prices: 50.5 for a hard seat, 101.5 for a hard sleeper, 152.5 for a soft sleeper, and 272.5 for a deluxe soft sleeper. 50 yuan? Are you sure it's a train? Yang Zhao asked. Chen Mingsheng simply laughed, saying, "Of course you may have not traveled with this kind." Yang Zhao turned to look at Chen Mingsheng. "Which kind?" Chen Mingsheng intended to answer casually, but looking at Yang Zhao's somewhat serious expression, he decided to explain in detail. He raised his hand, pointing at the code of the train on the screen, saying, "Look at this letter." Yang Zhao said, "K." Chen Mingsheng continued, "In China Railway, T stands for Special Express, D stands for Electric Multiple Unit CMU, G stands for High Speed Rail, K stands for Fast, Z stands for Direct, C stands for Intercity. If there's no letter, it means ordinary fast. This K. Its speed is average, roughly between 80 kilometers and 100 kilometers. Yang Zhao nodded, saying, "Got it." Looking at Yang Zhao's face, Chen Mingsheng asked, "Why so serious?" "I'm not giving you a lesson." Yang Zhao didn't seem quite used to Chen Mingsheng's teasing. She looked at him out of the corner of her eye and said, "Just buy the tickets. Then I'll buy a soft sleeper." Just as Chen Mingsheng was about to click, Yang Zhao suddenly said, "Wait." Chen Mingsheng looked at her. "We should take the cheaper one," Yang Zhao said. "This train is pretty much the cheapest already," Chen Mingsheng replied. "I mean, let's not take the soft sleeper," Yang Zhao clarified. Chen Mingsheng looked at her. "What do you want then? How long will it take from Beijing to Wuta Mountain?" Yang Zhao asked. Chen Mingsheng replied, "Over 6 hours but less than 7. "Let's take the hard seat, 6 hours isn't." She stopped halfway. Yang Zhao initially wanted to say that 6 hours wouldn't be too long and time would pass quickly if they read a book. There was no need for a bed. But as she opened her mouth, she realized that she'd forgotten to consider Chen Mingsheng's condition. She didn't know if his leg could undertake it. This slight hesitation from her didn't escape Chen Mingsheng's notice. "I'll be fine," Chen Mingsheng hugged Yang Zhao, quietly assuring her. "You don't have to worry about me." Yang Zhao asked, "Will your leg be okay? We'll be sitting for 6 hours. Chen Mingsheng chuckled. "I drive over 10 hours every day. Do you ever see a problem with me?" "Oh," Yang Zhao looked at the screen and said, "Then let's take a hard seat." "Are you sure?" Chen Mingsheng asked. "Positive." Chen Mingsheng nodded and purchased 2 hard seat tickets. There were many tickets to Beijing. After a quick calculation of the time, Chen Mingsheng eventually chose a special express train. "That's it," said Chen Mingsheng. "Have you decided how many days we are going to stay? Shall we buy the return tickets too?" Yang Zhao shook her head. "Not sure. Let's hold off on buying those." "Okay." Chen Mingsheng closed the website and asked Yang Zhao, "Have you prepared what you're going to bring?" "Not much to bring, just packing some clothes," she replied as she got up from Chen Mingsheng's leg. "Do you want to see? I don't know if I'm missing anything." Yang Zhao moved to the bedroom, taking out her suitcase. As she opened it, the first thing that appeared were 2 books. Chen Mingsheng looked at Yang Zhao speechlessly. "You're still carrying books when going out to have fun?" Yang Zhao said, "Reading on the train." Chen Mingsheng simply chuckled and just said, "You'll know when the time comes." Yang Zhao asked, "Know what?" Chen Mingsheng shook his head. "Nothing much." Yang Zhao's preparations were quite comprehensive. She stuffed a few more clothes into her suitcase, and as she was about to close it, she suddenly looked at Chen Mingsheng and asked, "Are you leaving today?" Chen Mingsheng, sitting on Yang Zhao's bed, lit a cigarette, took a drag, and asked, "Something up?" Yang Zhao turned to pull at the suitcase's zipper, while replying, "Not much." Chen Mingsheng chuckled at her words. Yang Zhao turned back around to find him still looking at her with a playful grin. Yang Zhao felt a strange he tries to her face said, "You should leave." Perhaps because their affairs were all sorted out, the mood inside the room was beginning to shift. Chen Mingsheng's tone was somewhat languid. He held his cigarette elegantly between two long fingers, and as he kept eyes on Yang Zhao, he teased, "Are you trying to kick me out?" Yang Zhao felt her heart fluttering amidst her laughter and frustration, due to Chen Mingsheng's teasing tone. She decided to keep her head down and carried on packing without a word. Chen Mingsheng continued, "If you're kicking me out, I will go." "Who's kicking you out?" As soon as Yang Zhao turned her head, she saw Chen Mingsheng still wearing the same expression. She released the suitcase, strode over to the bed in 2 steps, and pushed Chen Mingsheng's shoulders, pushing him to lay down on the bed. Chen Mingsheng, cradling his cigarette, was careful not to burn her. His hands spread out like an embracing gesture. "Oh," Chen Mingsheng dragged out the vocalization, relaxing his frame on the bed. He took a deep drag, then exhaled smoke, blending into Yang Zhao's lungs. With her hands propped on each side of Chen Mingsheng, Yang Zhao looked down at him. Chen Mingsheng's face wore a faint smile as he let Yang Zhao gaze at him. After watching him for a while, Yang Zhao suddenly said, "Chen Mingsheng." Chen Mingsheng responded in a low voice, Yang Zhao said, "I think you are actually quite handsome." The hand that was holding the cigarette paused slightly. His focus finally shifted away from Yang Zhao, dropping his gaze and then returning. "Really?" Yang Zhao insisted, "You have an enduring look." Chen Mingsheng just laughed, saying nothing. Yang Zhao continued, "You should smile more." Chen Mingsheng said, "Sure." As he planned to take another puff, Yang Zhao reached out and held his wrist. Soon after Chen Mingsheng looked at her, Yang Zhao leaned in and kissed his lips. Many women prefer a clean kiss, but Yang Zhao is different. She likes kisses with flavor, alcohol, tobacco, everything that can intensify the soul. After kissing for a long time, Yang Zhao seemed to be tired. She relaxed her body and lay on Chen Mingsheng. Her face was buried beside Chen Mingsheng's face. Chen Mingsheng took a puff of his cigarette and asked with a faint smile, "So you really like my legs that much?" Yang Zhao was silent for a while, then replied, I do." Chen Mingsheng said nothing. Yang Zhao turned her head, her nose brushing against Chen Mingsheng's hair, a little prickly. She said, "Those friends of yours, some of what they said is true." Chen Mingsheng responded, "Really?" Time lingered quietly between them as Yang Zhao felt Chen Mingsheng's every breath. After finishing his cigarette, Chen Mingsheng flicked the butt into the bedside ashtray, then rolled over with Yang Zhao beneath him. "Since you like it, I'll give it to you," he said, leaning down to kiss her. Yang Zhao clung on to Chen Mingsheng, pulling him down onto her. His arms propped up on either side as he warned, "If you pull harder, I'll end up on top of you." "Do it, are you heavy?" she asked. Not exactly light," he considered. Yang Zhao laughed and pulled Chen Mingsheng down. Eventually, he tried not to press too hard against her, but still, the weight of him was there. Yet she didn't mind his weight at all. His body was like a mountain, giving her a deep sense of security. "Chen Mingsheng, can we not go home tonight?" she whispered in his ear. Yang Zhao asked again, her hair sticking to Chen Mingsheng's mouth. He reached up and gently pulled it down. "There would be no problem with that," Chen Mingsheng answered softly. That night, Yang Zhao slept soundly in Chen Mingsheng's arms. It was the first time they had shared a bed in his apartment, falling to sleep and rising up together. Yang Zhao woke up slightly earlier than Chen Mingsheng, and she turned to look at him. His face was half buried in the soft pillow, revealing a calm and relaxed expression. Yang Zhao suddenly wanted to touch him, but she was afraid to wake him and eventually didn't. The sun had risen, and the deep blue curtains couldn't block out the warm sunlight. She smiled. Just as she was about to laugh, Chen Mingsheng seemed to sense it. He flinched and slowly opened his eyes. Looking sleepy and sitting up, he asked, "What's funny?" "Chen Mingsheng, this is wonderful," Yang Zhao replied. "What is?" he asked. "When I open my eyes, you exist with the morning sun," she said. Upon hearing this, Chen Mingsheng let his hand drop and gathered Yang Zhao into his arms. While lying in his arms, she felt as though in just one night, the pillow and blankets had taken on his scent. This was wonderful. When I open my eyes, you exist with the morning sun. The day before departure, young Zhao and Chen Mingsheng went to the supermarket to buy some food. Young Zhao didn't have a habit of snacking. She only grabbed some fruit along with some bread. After she finished choosing, Chen Mingsheng added a bag of beef to their basket. Young Zhao glanced at it and asked, "Why are you buying beef? If you want meat, I can get a few packets of sausages." Chen Mingsheng replied, "No need, let's get some fresh ones and marinate them." Young Zhao asked, "Is it convenient to carry?" Chen Mingsheng said, "It's the same." After they paid, young Zhao told Chen Mingsheng, "Wait for me here for a bit." Chen Mingsheng watched her turn around and disappear at a corner. After a short while, she returned, carrying 2 cartons of cigarettes. "I ran out at home," Yang Zhao explained. Chen Mingsheng opened the plastic bag with a smile, and Yang Zhao put the cigarettes in it. Chen Mingsheng suggested, "Cut down on the smoking." Yang Zhao didn't even look at him, retorting, "Why don't you cut down?" Chen Mingsheng chuckled lightly, "I'm a guy." Yang Zhao dismissed him. "Let's go. Are we eating at home or out?" Chen Mingsheng said, "Let's go home to eat." Dinner was unsurprisingly cooked by Chen Mingsheng again. Even though the dishes were simple home-cooked meals, Yang Zhao loved them. Chen Mingsheng made 3 dishes and some rice. "You eat a lot, don't you?" Yang Zhao remarked as she watched Chen Mingsheng dig into his second bowl of rice. Chen Mingsheng grunted affirmatively, waited for his mouth to be clear, then retorted, "You're the one who doesn't eat enough." Yang Zhao said, "I'm going to double-check what I've packed later." Chen Mingsheng took a bite of his food and said, "You've already checked twice." Yang Zhao leaned against the back of her chair, tilting her head back, looking at the chandelier hanging above the dining table. The chandelier, an artifact of the original house decor, had a classical ambience and looked very elegant. "Finished eating?" Yang Zhao asked as Chen Mingsheng put his utensils down after polishing off his second bowl. Chen Mingsheng nodded. Yang Zhao stood up, "Then I'll clean up." Chen Mingsheng said, "Let me do it." "You wanted to check your stuff again, right? Go on." Back in the bedroom, Yang Zhao double-checked her luggage. After assessing her neatly folded clothes and travel items, she closed the suitcase. On the other side of the room was Chen Mingsheng's luggage, a simple black shoulder bag that wasn't even filled to capacity. "You packed just this?" she asked. Chen Mingsheng smiled and said softly, "It's enough." Now Yang Zhao was staring at his somewhat deflated travel bag again, contemplating that they wouldn't need an extra bag for food tomorrow. Finally, Yang Zhao opened her wallet, preparing to check her documents. After opening her wallet, she hesitated at the sight of the multiple bank cards tucked in. There was a stubborn insistence in Chen Mingsheng. He didn't want Yang Zhao to pay for him. He wanted a truly equal relationship. Oh no. Yang Zhao thought, perhaps it's not equality he wants but a relationship where he holds a slight upper hand. She chuckled lightly, took out all the bank cards from the wallet and placed them on the table. That night they turned in early. Yang Zhao was accustomed to the scent of Chen Mingsheng. His embrace, just like him, was deep yet warm. The next day, Yang Zhao woke up early while Chen Mingsheng was still sleeping. She freshened up in the bathroom and returned to find Chen Mingsheng still asleep. Yang Zhao nudged him. "Wake up," she said. Stirring slightly, Chen Mingsheng slowly opened his eyes and asked huskily, "What time is it?" "Isn't it too early?" Yang Zhao replied, "It's 5:30, get up now." Without any response, Chen Mingsheng closed his eyes again. Yang Zhao paused for a moment then said, "I just told you to get up." She thought Chen Mingsheng might have misheard. Chen Mingsheng took a deep breath and said, "Our train is not until 9:00. Yang Zhao responded, "At 9:20. "Why get up so early then?" he questioned. "We need to be early. Trains don't wait for people." After being bothered by Yang Zhao, Chen Mingsheng couldn't fall back asleep. He turned over, sat up, rubbed his face, and saw Yang Zhao giving him a strange look. He asked, "What is it?" "You look like a wheat field," Yang Zhao said. Chen Mingsheng, "What? You should go take a bath. I'll go cook some rice." Having said that, she grabbed her clothes and left the bedroom. Chen Mingsheng watched her leave, bemused. He moved to the edge of the bed, stood up on one leg, stretched, his back spreading out like a fan. He then grabbed his crutch leaning by the bed and went to the bathroom. When he saw his reflection, he realized what Yang Zhao had meant. Because he had slept on his side, his hair had been pressed into a strange shape. But his hair was short and couldn't stick up. It just lay flat, some to the left, some to the right. A wheat field. Chen Mingsheng smiled softly to himself. They finished breakfast before 7. It's only a half-hour drive to the train station, Chen Mingsheng said. We could rest a bit before we go. Yang Zhao suggested, let's go now. Wouldn't we then have a lot of time to kill at the station? He questioned. I haven't been there before. When do you think we should leave? Any time before 8:30 is early enough. Yang Zhao looked at her watch and said, then let's head out at 7:30. Chen Mingsheng agreed, okay. With 40 minutes left, Chen Mingsheng had a second breakfast while Yang Zhao went to the bedroom. Shortly after, she brought out a small booklet and started reading it on the couch. After Chen Mingsheng finished eating, he joined her. Is that a map? Yes, the booklet was a portable one, and Yang Zhao unfolded the first page, which was a map of Shaanxi's tourist spots. She then chose the map of Mount Wuti and studied it. When did you buy this? Chen Mingsheng asked. Yesterday, she replied. Yang Zhao was very focused on the map. Not interested, Chen Mingsheng watched her from the couch. With her glasses on and strands of hair falling on her face, she seemed very serious. Yixing found it amusing that she was so serious about everything. When Yang Zhao finished her study of the map, she put the booklet back together. Chen Mingsheng joked, what, you memorized it all now? Yang Zhao detected his teasing, gave him a cool look and didn't respond. Chen Mingsheng chuckled as he watched her carry the booklet back to the room. She then brought out their suitcases and travel bags and placed them by the door. Glancing at his watch, he said, we still have some time. Yep, Yang Zhao replied nonchalantly. She spotted his prosthetic limb leaning against the wall and asked, are you going to bring this with you? Chen Mingsheng turned his head from the couch, hesitating. Yang Zhao advised, don't bring it. Chen Mingsheng stared at her, really? It's not convenient, Yang Zhao argued. You're going to have to take it off if we go sightseeing anyway. What are you going to do with it then when we're rushing around? Chen Mingsheng simply accepted her argument. All right, let's not bring it then. At 7:30, Yang Zhao and Chen Mingsheng went out promptly. Yang Zhao asked, should we take your car or mine? Chen Mingsheng replied, mine, I guess. Chen Mingsheng drove fast. It didn't even take half an hour to get there. He parked the car in a shady spot. Yang Zhao got out and went to the trunk to get a suitcase. She told Chen Mingsheng, make sure you lock the car. Yang Zhao and Chen Mingsheng went through security and found a place to wait. It was still early, and there were plenty of seats. They chose 2 on the edge. Yang Zhao looked up at the high ceiling. Chen Mingsheng pulled out a bottle of water, asking, are you thirsty? Yang Zhao shook her head. Chen Mingsheng asked, what are you looking at? Yang Zhao said, I've never been to this train station before, but I've heard about it. Chen Mingsheng asked, heard what? Yang Zhao said, do you know who designed this train station? Chen Mingsheng took a sip of water and said, no, I don't know. 2 Japanese, Yang Zhao answered. This used to be a railway hub for Manchukuo. Where did you get that information if you've never been here before? Yang Zhao said, this is a cultural heritage site. I read about it in a book. After a while, the station started to fill with people. Yang Zhao checked the time. They still had more than an hour to go. She pulled out a book from her suitcase and started to read. Chen Mingsheng sat next to her, resting with his arms folded. His cane was propped up beside him, the right leg of his pants rolled up for convenience and tucked into his belt. His cane and his leg were both quite noticeable. Sitting across from Yang Zhao and Chen Mingsheng were a group of laborers with lots of luggage. Some of them took seats directly on their bulging woven bags as there were no seats available. They were also waiting for the train, but they had no books to read. So they kept staring at Chen Mingsheng, first at his leg, then at him, and then at his leg again. Chen Mingsheng sat silent in his seat, with his eyes closed. After a while, Yang Zhao put down her book and asked the men across from her, what are you looking at? Chen Mingsheng opened his eyes. Seemingly caught off guard by Yang Zhao's sudden utterance, the laborers looked at her, showing no emotion on their faces. Nothing. One of them seemed to realize that Yang Zhao and Chen Mingsheng were together, turned his head and started a conversation with someone else. Yang Zhao resumed reading her book without giving Chen Mingsheng a glance. Chen Mingsheng turned his face to look at her. Yang Zhao seemed to be engrossed in her book, showing no intention of responding. Chen Mingsheng laughed to himself and lay back to rest. At 9 o'clock, the ticket check started. Yang Zhao and Chen Mingsheng took their luggage and passed through the ticket gate, then took the elevator down to the platform. Yang Zhao looked at the parked train, white-roofed and red-bodied. She glanced at the ticket, car 62A. Since they bought the tickets online together starting from the initial station, their seats were next to each other. When getting on the train, the conductor saw Chen Mingsheng's situation and specifically asked, "Do you need any help?" Chen Mingsheng shook his head and said quietly, "No need, thank you." Yang Zhao dragged her suitcase into the compartment, with Chen Mingsheng following behind. He stood next to Yang Zhao, handed her the cane, and then picked up Yang Zhao's suitcase. Yang Zhao saw that he seemed a bit unsteady on one leg, so she put her hand on his back to support him. Their seats were at the front of the car. A few people were blocked behind. Some said hurry up. Chen Mingsheng put the suitcase away without retrieving his cane. He hopped with his hand on the small table. A woman with a child squeezed past. Seeing Chen Mingsheng's leg, she seemed startled. Yang Zhao handed Chen Mingsheng's cane back to him. Chen Mingsheng leaned the cane against the window and sat down. After sitting down, he adjusted the right leg of his pants. Seeing this, Yang Zhao asked quietly, "Uncomfortable?" Chen Mingsheng shook his head. "I'm fine." He loosened his pants from the belt a little bit. Having settled down, Chen Mingsheng looked out of the window, seeing a few people running to catch the train. Chen Mingsheng turned his head. Their eyes met. Yang Zhaozeng looked at him. Her gaze was still indifferent, but Chen Mingsheng understood its meaning. He raised his head, touched Yang Zhao's nape, and whispered, "It's okay." Yang Zhao watched him quietly for a moment, then responded with a soft sound, turned her head to take out a book and began to read. The express to Beijing takes 5 hours. On the train, Yang Zhao tried to read her book but gave up as it was too shaky. Now she finally understood the inexplicable smile on Chen Mingsheng's face when he heard she was bringing books. "Do you need to rest?" Chen Mingsheng asked. "No need." The carriage was crowded with many passengers standing and looking for empty seats. After drinking some water, Yang Zhao sat serenely. Opposite her and Chen Mingsheng was an elderly couple with a grandson. The little boy was restless on the train. One moment he was crying out, then quiet, his grandmother trying to get him to quiet down. "Are you hungry?" the grandmother asked. "Hungry," the little boy exclaimed. His grandfather took out a tightly secured plastic bag from the floor, opened it slowly, and it was filled with snacks. "What do you want to eat?" After a couple of shouts, the little boy leaned on his grandmother to reach for the plastic bag, fumbling inside and eventually pulling out a packet. Yang Zhao didn't know what it was. She had neither seen nor eaten it before. The snacks were lined up in rows, red and vacuum sealed. The little boy uses his teeth to open the snack bag, takes out one and bites into it enthusiastically. The moment the bag opened, a strong smell of greasy air, like gas, hit Yang Zhao. She slightly frowned and looked the other way. But the smell was still there, stronger with every bite the boy took. He seemed to enjoy it a lot, and the chewing sound was particularly loud. Listening to that sound and smelling that distinctive odor, Yang Zhao started to feel a bit dizzy. She nudged Chen Mingsheng next to her, trying to divert her attention. Chen Mingsheng had been resting with his eyes closed. He opened his eyes, looking at Yang Zhao. "Did you fall asleep?" she asked in a low voice. "No." Yang Zhao hummed in acknowledgement, without saying anything. Chen Mingsheng seemed to notice Yang Zhao's diminished energy and held her hand, asking, "Are you not feeling well?" Yang Zhao shook her head, and Chen Mingsheng offered, "I'll get you some fruit." Thinking that the sweet and refreshing fruit might neutralize the greasy smell, Yang Zhao nodded and said, "All right." Chen Mingsheng's backpack was on the floor, with food items inside. He took a fruit bag out and handed a pear to Yang Zhao. "Thank you, I will go wash it," said Yang Zhao. The pear was already washed at home, but given the circumstances, Yang Zhao felt it should be washed again. She took her pear and stood from her seat. Their seats were at one end of the carriage near the washroom. The washroom was locked, with 2 people waiting in line. After a while, it was Yang Zhao's turn. She stepped into the messy washroom, where the previous person hadn't flushed. Pinning her breath, she flushed and washed her pear in the tiny sink. As she left, she saw people crowded in the junction of the 2 carriages, some sitting on their luggage, some directly on the floor. Her dizziness seemed to worsen. Upon returning to her seat, she gave back the pear to Chen Mingsheng. He looked at her. "What's the matter?" "I can't eat it." Seeing Yang Zhao looking somewhat pale, he asked, "Are you feeling unwell?" A bit, young Zhao nodded. The boy didn't finish his snack, left half-pack on the table. Yang Zhao lowered her head, not wanting to look at it. Chen Mingsheng seemed worried. Should I get you some hot water? Yang Zhao thought of the condition of the washroom and shook her head. No need. She shifted closer to Chen Mingsheng, resting her head on his shoulder. He was still worried. Are you sure you're okay? It's okay, just a bit of motion sickness. I will rest a bit, Yang Zhao replied. Chen Mingsheng gripped Yang Zhao's hand, her gaze fixed on her knees. Chen Mingsheng's hand bones were pronounced, looking somewhat dry, with attractive knuckles and contours. Yang Zhao closed her eyes, trying her best to ignore the peculiar smells.